date, he not only takes out his now wife Brenda, but he brought the kid along too.
Okay.
And she said at that moment, I knew I was going to marry him. And, that's a pretty, most guys don't want the kids around. I mean, it wouldn't bother me, but, some people.
First date. First date's a tough date.
I know. You got to win them over. So I just wanted to mention that about what's going on with the NFL and actually, it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's not.
Yes, Pro Football.
It's not. I mean, does the World League? Was the World Football League get mentioned in there? I don't know, but
the
USFL.
So yeah.
Anyway,
but just to throw the names out: Kenny Easley, Morton Anderson, Terrell Davis, good player, and like you said, Jason Taylor, LaDainian Thomas, and Jerry Jones, Kurt Warner. So that was the inductee class. So congratulations to all.
Let's talk about the Knicks quickly. First of all, Charles Oakley, they reached a settlement. Then rather than go to trial, they took a dismissal deal, which means the charges against him will be dismissed in 6 months for good behavior. But he still can't go near the Garden
for a year. He had to accept a 1-year ban from the Garden. So, but free Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley's a free man.
I feel good about that.
And Oak said he told the Daily News. I read this quote where he said, "Let's not waste taxpayer money on this, and let's help out the kids and make the streets safe."
Oak always looking out for
you got to love Oak.
So we'll see. I mean, if I'm Jimmy Dolan, I would say, come back, sit with me. Maybe he won't want to.
Jimmy Dolan will never do that.
You don't know that.
He's got a massive ego.
I know, but he does things on the spin of a dime like that sometimes.
He's not with Oakley. He'll do it with any other player in the Knicks, Knicks history.
The fact
he'll have Stephon Marbury back before he has Oak back.
Sprewell sitting next to him.
That's my point.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
That's my point. Is that he'll do something stupid like that, but he refuses. He's got issues with Oakley, and
I'm not sure why.
Well, Oakley called him out.
He did.
Oakley called him out, but with good reason. What have the Knicks done?
Nothing.
In the last 20 years, they've done nothing.
Absolutely.
And you look at with all this OJ stuff that was going on a couple weeks ago with his parole hearing. Then that's when you see the Knicks and the Rockets, because that was the final series that year, and OJ's Bronco chase wound up screwing up the final series, one of the games. I think it was Game 5 or Game 6, I forget.
6. So.
But you're kind of thrown back into that time, and you realize that was pretty much the last time the Knicks were really successful. And how many years ago was that? It's 20-something years ago. So that is the problem, is that, Oakley has said, the Knicks need to be accountable for what they're doing, and what they're doing is screwing up, basically, is what it comes down to. So I don't have any problems with what Oakley said, and I don't know why Dolan does, because you have a guy who let's face it, Charles Oakley is outspoken. I'm not going to say he's not, and I'm not going to say that everything he says is good, because he does say some things that maybe he should think twice about saying. But the fans love Oakley, and James Dolan needs to take that into account. Because the fans, especially New York fans, like a guy who tells it like it is. I won't even say what the other stuff I was going to say. But Charles Oakley is a guy who, he doesn't care. He doesn't care what people say about him. He doesn't care what people think. Charles Oakley's going to say what he wants to say. And not everybody has that manner. But Oakley doesn't care about the consequences. And you have to respect that kind of honesty. But again, there are ramifications for it, and this is part of that. Is that Dolan wanted Oakley out of the Garden, even though Oakley paid for his own ticket. That was the thing I didn't understand. It's like, all right, hey, the guy paid for his own ticket. It's not like he got comped by the Knicks, but Dolan wanted him out anyway, which just shows you how petty he is.
By the way, it's Game 4.
Game 4. Okay. Game 4. But that was the big issue.
Hey, I've always said, you want to cause a little problem with the Garden. Well, not if you want to. Make sure you own stock in the company, because
who knows if he does?
Well, I'm sure he doesn't. But
maybe it's part of his contract.
You know what I once said? I was at radio
sharing
a few years ago. I'm at Radio City Music Hall,
right?
And I have to use the bathroom, and they're chasing everyone out. So I said, "Sir, officer, security guy, I have to go to the bathroom." He goes, "Well, go somewhere else." I go, "No, I have to go now." And he just looked at me.
Thanks, officer.
And he just looked at me. I said, "By the way, officer, I own stock in this company." The guy let me go.
You were looking for anything you could at that point.
I was. But, the garden, at Radio City, you have to go downstairs. That beautiful bathroom they have. So anyway, the Knicks, who knows? Charles Oakley's the good story. Matter of fact, I would bring Oakley in to start rattling this team up. Just bring him in for like a practice week or something.
He's coaching in that Big 3 league.
Oh, God. Have you seen that?
I did. And they actually, I saw a clip. It might have even been on YouTube. I don't remember where I saw it. But Oakley was having a conversation on the bench with Steven Jackson. Because you remember Steven Jackson? No. Played for the Pacers. He was a head case when he was a player. And Steven Jackson is yelling at a ref and just going on and on and on. And the ref tells him he's going to tee him up. Oakley takes him out of the game, sits him on the bench, and starts talking to him. And Steven Jackson is still yelling at the ref. Oakley's telling him to shut up. And he's trying to say, look, I know you played 15 years in the league, and I know this and that. He goes, I played 18 years in the league. He goes, and I know that you should listen to your coach because your coach is trying to help you improve or do something that's going to benefit you. And Steven Jackson doesn't want to hear any of it.
Of course not.
And Oakley is like, man, what's wrong with these guys? But it's like, Steven Jackson he doesn't want to listen, and he's like, when I go back in, he's telling Oakley, I'm going to check myself back in just so I can go back and yell at the ref. And it's like, Oakley's like, man, you're an idiot, and he can't say, well, he's a kid or whatever, because Steven Jackson's in his 40s now. So
it's a weird 3-on-3 thing because there's a 4-point play,
you have to shoot from
away.
Some box or something,
and it's in they had one of the games at the Barclays. And it looked like they actually sold some tickets, but I'm not sure how many of them were, freebies to the neighborhood.
Well,
but it was.
They
just
did because Iverson's playing. There's some big players that people probably want to see.
Yeah, I mean there was actually players you would know.
Yeah.
And it's half court, so it's like we've played half court basketball, not very effectively.
A lot easier on some old knees, and most of those guys, if you played any kind of appreciable amount of time in the NBA, chances are you got bad knees. So a lot less running.
A lot less running. So it's it's a lot of long shots. I think is the best way to describe it. It's an interesting concept. Well, it goes up beyond this year. Who is it? Ice
Cube.
Ice Cube put it together. An interesting idea. Keep some of the older players.
Mad respect to Cube.
Yeah. Anyway, brother, we're running out of time here. Big Ed Newlands is coming up next with Good Gold.
We have about 5 minutes left.
Yeah, 5 minutes left. Yeah, but just saying. Quickly, let's mention what day is today? Today is August 7th. Tomorrow.
This is my favorite story of the week.
Something very interesting is happening
on
ESPN.
Let me give a hat tip to Ken Schott of the Schenectady Gazette back in my old stomping grounds, who actually alerted me to this story first.
Okay.
Which I don't know who alerted him first, but he was the guy that I saw it from. Tomorrow, and Big Ed, you will like this story. Tomorrow, August 8th, which is 8/8, as the numerologists will know, ESPN is going to do what fans of the movie Dodgeball have been waiting for since 2004 when Dodgeball came out. ESPN is going to turn ESPNU, which I don't even know how many people actually get this channel, but they are going to turn ESPNU into ESPN8, the Ocho.
I would rather.
How cool is that?
And the funny thing about it is, some of the stuff they're showing is actually what ESPN started with. Darts and roller derby and stuff like that.
And there will be dodgeball.
Yeah. Well,
there will be dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
At 4 a.m.
I hope so. I wonder how many shows they actually have. And I wonder if they actually have people from Dodgeball.
Solid programming from midnight until, I guess, 9 p.m.
Well, is Jason Bateman in it?
No.
I mean, is it going to be like him in a promo?
No, I don't. That I don't know. I don't mean Dodgeball the movie. There's actually going to be some kind of competitive dodgeball.
Right, there is.
Just so people aren't confused about that.
Is Ben Stiller going to be?
Don't know. I hope so, because that would be better.
They've got to show up
in character.
Yeah, they have to show up
in character.
This is something they started. They have to show up for this.
But. Dodgeball fans should remember, and I'm a big Dodgeball fan. I love that movie. It's hysterical. But they will remember that the sport was broadcast on the Ocho. And as you said, Jason Bateman and Gary Cole were Pepper Brooks and Cotton McKnight, respectively. And they called the games. And that was Bateman's famous line that came from that's still very much in play today, where he says, "That's a bold strategy, Cotton." When average Joes, when they showed up and they didn't have enough players, and Cotton says they're going to have to forfeit, and Bateman's response in his warped color commentary sense was, "That's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see we'll see how that works out for them." And when they were just about to forfeit, so. The logo for ESPN 8 in the movie said something to the effect of, that we'll broadcast pretty much anything. It was a lot of if it's a sport or if it's barely a sport, it'll be on ESPN 8.
But that was ESPN in 1979.
Yeah, pretty much.
Australian rules football. No one had ever heard of that until
Footscray.
Yeah, until ESPN started it. Even though they don't really carry it anymore.
Wow.
I mean, that's you always stay with the one who brung you.
Yes.
Quickly, some soccer.
Yes.
I can't believe $263 million for a transfer fee.
Yes, that's dollars.
That's a lot of money.
It's an enormous sum of money.
Who got it?
Neymar.
Neymar
has transferred from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain for the ungodly fee of 222 million euros or $263 million.
Wow. How do you make money on that deal?
You're going to have to sell a lot of jerseys because and I don't know how much they're really looking to make money. As much as the Paris Saint-Germain is going for everything this year. They want to win everything. They want to win their league. They want to win the Champions League. They want to win everything. And they're looking at Neymar as the guy to lead them there. And Neymar wants to be that guy because now he's out of Messi's shadow at Barcelona.
Right.
He has his own team. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Imagine teams here in the United States having that access to just spend that type of money on a player.
It's ridiculous.
And the first thing is it worth it? That's the main question.
Well, we're going to find out if it's worth it. I mean, let's just put it in perspective. This transfer fee more than doubles the previous record transfer fee, which Manchester United paid $105 million for Paul Pogba last year.
Wow.
So just in 1 year, more than double, which is insane. But again, that's what's going on. I don't know that it's going to happen again anytime soon because there's not a player like him available. But we'll see. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be another £100 million or €100 million transfer probably in the near future. But we'll see.
Anyway, that just about does it from the press box. I am Rob Leonard. He is Tim Leonard. Tim Leonard, you're on Twitter
at Real Tim Leonard.
We will see you next Monday at 10 a.m. talking more sports. Go to Spreaker.com for the podcast replay. And coming up next, Big Ed Newlands with Good Gold right here on 90.3 WHPC, WHPC HD, Garden City.
Gotta get up.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
WHPC HD, Garden City.
Available on the iHeartRadio app.